Alrighty, this is Aussie Gamer 17 and we're playing some more Sherlock Holmes Crimes and Punishments. This is going to be Case 3, Bloodbath. If you've just joined us, we've finished Case 1 and 2, so make sure you go and check out those videos. And for now, we're going to get on with Case 3, and just a reminder that we're going to be getting all achievements during the playthrough of the game, so look out for those and I'll explain each as we get to them. And without waiting any longer, let's start Case 3.
Holmes, what happened?
I feel deathly.
What's happened?
Why don't you look it? Let me examine you. Please don't tell me that you've returned to your old habits.
I won't generally talk in cutscenes either, a little bit here and there, but we'll experience the story as much as we can as well. Alright, to start off, we've got control of Watson, and we need to examine Mr. Holmes. So first thing is his eye here, so click on that.
The pupil is dilated.
And then his forehead as well.
The temperature appears to be normal.
Okay, and then his wrist, which is where we've got to count his
Count
heartbeat.
the heartbeats.
So what's going to happen after we push A to start is there's going to be a heartbeat every second or so, and we've got to press A along with each beat. So let's do that. A, 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 A. And you know you got it right when it goes green like that, so it should just be 8 in 10 seconds. That is one of our mini games. It's a good time to remind you of the achievements that take you to that.
Your pulse rate. We need to.
The antidote. Give it to me.
The antidote? You mean that you're poisoned?
Now. Please.
Here, drink it all. Don't tell me that you did this to yourself.
Hemlock and Datura. I was compelled to.
Holmes, imagine if I'd not returned home when I did. What might have happened?
I knew that you would.
Mr. Holmes, Inspector Lestrade is here to see you.
Mr. Holmes is unable to see anyone at the moment. He is unwell.
A good day, Inspector.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. I'm glad to find you here. I need your help. This is a strange one.
That was a
We've
strange
brought in
one.
2 young bankers from the city, sons of lords, members of the chamber, and so on and so forth. They were found stranded in a rowing boat that was drifting on the Thames.
A romantic escapade with an unhappy ending, Lestrade.
What? Well, yes, they were both in the bath, but what?
As I said,
And they were tied together.
you are lacking in imagination, Inspector.
Well, no, I'm not. Anyway, there was a banner flapping about in the boat with the RMS Oceanic printed on it and signed by the Merry Men.
The Oceanic. Isn't that the largest steamer ever built?
Yes, and these 2 young banker chaps are sons of the owners of the White Star Line, the company that built it. There are rumours of corruption.
I'm not interested in politics, Lestrade.
I'll keep it then. Here's another one that's a bit more complex and maybe to your liking. It's a murder, but we're unable to find any weapon. We haven't touched anything. It's at the Roman Baths in
A vanishing weapon, the Roman baths. That's for us. Watson, fetch your hat.
Indeed it is for us. But before I was rudely interrupted by Watson and the gang, I was going to explain that there is a couple of achievements that I haven't managed to get on camera, and that's only because I've been playing ahead and practicing these before I do the walkthrough for you guys. And the one that comes to mind is My Grey Matters, and that's for finishing 45 mini games or puzzles without skipping. So that was a mini game just there where we revived Sherlock, but and we could have skipped it if we wanted to, or if you had trouble with it. So you have to get the 45 without skipping, but you don't have to get them all in a row. It's cumulative. And the reason I bring that up is because I've been playing ahead and I've already got my 45. So you won't see those achievements pop, but they will just pop throughout the playthrough. And you can skip a few here and there. I know I definitely have. Alright, let's move on. Next step we need to go to the murder scene to Strand Lane, Bath. Let's do that.
Place.
With a dreadful murder. The body of Sir Rodney Bentcliffe is still in the steam room. It has not been touched, per your usual instructions, Mr. Holmes. I shall be waiting for you here, but please hurry.
Alright, now we'll chat to the inspector and just exhaust his dialogue, so let's do that.
Are you able to identify the men who were with the victim in the steam room?
Yes. The manager of the bath, Sir Gregory Pitkin, a lad from the City Council, Garrow, and an archaeologist by the name of Blinkhorn. I think the plump one, Garrow, did it. He doesn't seem right in the head.
Well, we shall see. You found no murder weapon?
No, and that's why I called you. All three witnesses and the victim were locked in when the murder occurred, and they remained so until we got here. We even had to pick the lock to enter.
I see. Was there anyone else here, apart from those gentlemen in the steam room?
Yes, a Mr. Phillips. He was the one who called the police. He'll be able to give you more details.
Alright, and we'll do just that. We'll go and talk to Mr. Phillips now.
Good day to you, Mr. Phillips. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my colleague, Dr. Watson. Would you be so kind as to answer our questions?
Certainly, sir.
Alright, and the same thing again, we're just going to exhaust all of his dialogue.
Please tell us the chain of events from the start of your day. Everything that you can remember. The slightest detail may be of importance.
Very well, sir. And I opened the baths. I made sure that the room was clean, and I prepared the towels. The brazier was still burning.
There was a fire burning all night.
Yes, Sir Gregory ordered me to light the brazier yesterday. It takes some time until the room is fully heated. The gentleman had a meeting at 9 o'clock this morning. I wanted everything to be perfect. They'd been in the steam room for 20 minutes when I suddenly heard shouting. I ran to the door, but it was closed. I couldn't open it. So I ran out to the street to call for the police. One constable came up, and then there were others, and they picked the lock. Then Inspector Lestrade came along, and he told us that nothing should be touched.
Did you receive any other visitors this morning?
No one. Until these gentlemen arrived. Sir Gregory was the first. And then, while we were discussing work details, Sir Rodney and Mr. Blinkhorn arrived, and Mr. Garrow followed.
What happened after that?
I waited until they'd all entered the steam room, then I returned to the hall. The changing room door was open, so I should hear if they needed anything.
You would have heard if someone had entered or left the steam room.
Certainly, sir. These doors make a lot of noise.
Alright, and we've finished his dialogue, and now we've got our first character portrait. So push X. Okay, first thing we've got is here on his nose. Light wrinkles. Got something on his ear here. Cut. Move it forward down to his collar. And then keep going down his button, his little badge here, and one more, you can see the list there, is a telegram. And that's the character portrait complete. Alright, now we can head into the murder scene itself, which is through these doors here. So head in here. And first thing we've got to do is head over to this here. It's the champagne bottle. Let's examine that. Alright, just tilt it a little bit. Check the wine label.
For a special occasion.
Check the cork.
Unopened. It was intended to be enjoyed after the steam session.
And rotate a little further, and we're going to check the melted ice.
An ice bucket to keep the champagne chilled.
Alright, and now we can head into the baths. So through this door here.
Good Lord, Holmes.
Death with a peculiarly Roman piquancy.
Like the one you almost had
Piquancy.
Let us forget about that.
Alright, so first thing we want to do here in the murder scene is examine the body. Alright, start with the face. We've got a wound, so let's just check the wound.
From the weapon. It pierced the right eye straight through to the brain, taneous.
We've got some blood on him down here on the side, on his chest.
The wound should not have bled so profusely. This pool is rather large.
And then we've got his hand. And first of all, we've got the ring finger.
Look, Watson. He was wearing a ring. He very likely removed it before the steam session.
We've got his fingernails.
Some dirt or earth. I'll take a sample.
And we're taking a sample of the dirt from under his fingernails. And now his wrist.
Recent, between 30 minutes to 1 hour ago.
Don't know how you can tell that from a wrist, but thanks, Watson.
I think we have found all that we can here, taking into consideration the abysmal lighting. Constable, we have finished with the body.
We don't have many leads here.
What concerns me is that we still have to find the murder weapon.
Mr. Holmes?
Please have the body removed without disturbing anything else in the room.
All right, Mr. Holmes.
I was wondering, Holmes, it's fairly reckless to carry out a murder inside a closed chamber. Why do you suppose they did it?
There are a great many possibilities. The murderer was in a hurry, or he is an artist, or a ghost, or he wanted to ensure that I'd be brought in on the case.
Probably the latter. You are ridiculous. Do you know that?
Thanks again, Watson. Alright, so now that the body's moved, we can examine this blood on the floor here. And we're going to take a
Sample at Baker Street.
And as you can see, it's prompting us to use our detective vision. So push RB. And we can now see a key. We're going to take that as well.
This key was covered in blood. I should ask Phillips about it.
Alright. Now if we move over here to the right, there's a steam switch. We're going to examine that. First, examine the sign.
G. Newell and Sons, steam specialists, Seattle, WA.
And now turn the steam on.
With the steam on, I'm unable to see even a few feet away.
Okay, that just shows us what it would have been like while the murder took place. Detective vision again to find the switch and turn the steam back off. Oop, there we go. Alright, and now we want to go and check out the brazier, I think it's called. Not the glasses just yet. Alright, check the brazier.
The brazier is still burning.
Brazier.
The heat here is extreme.
I'll just call it a fire, but okay. So examine that.
Too hot. I cannot reach into it.
And you'll notice this lump of metal there, so we're going to examine that as well.
I will need something to pick up this melted metal.
And now we're going to look at these glasses. Pick them up. Examine one side
The wearer is short-sighted.
and the other side.
One lens is cracked, probably due to the temperature of the brazier.
And we're putting them back. Alright, moving on, we need to just talk to these three suspects quickly. They won't actually get into proper conversations with us.
It's horrible. So
Starting with
Rodney
Garrow.
is dead. Can't we speak about it somewhere else? I found him. I touched his shoulder, thinking that he was just asleep.
And we'll look at the blood on his towel.
Blood traces wiped on the towel.
Alright, we'll look into that more later. Let's chat to Pitkin.
I'm in shock. I don't want to talk.
None of them
Have to
seem to.
interrogate me. I'd like to be dressed properly first. I feel ill. I want to go.
And
horrible.
Lincoln.
I can't talk at the moment. I can't understand what happened. Am I allowed to leave?
So these, at this stage, that's our three suspects. They're the three men that were in the room with the victim. And we're locked in there, in fact. So, yeah. Now we need to go and speak to the inspector again. So head back out this way. Back out both doors. And he's going to ask if he can move the suspects back to the yard. And we have no objections.
Mr. Holmes, I should like to take the suspects to the yard. You can interrogate them there. Any objections?
Not at all.
None, Lestrade.
Okay, so he does that, and we can now talk to... And get ready for a QTE while you're talking to Mr. Phillips.
How many people have keys to the steam room?
We have just the one key for now, which Sir Gregory gave to me.
So, this morning you opened the steam room, and then?
I put the key inside my desk, but when they called, I couldn't find it. It had disappeared. I don't know where it is.
Did you leave the baths at any time, or receive any visitors?
No, sir, I did not.
Alright, so we know that's not true, and the reason we know that is we saw in his pocket he had a telegram. It had today's date and time on it, so he's been out and sent a telegram this morning, or received one, I'm not sure. So we're going to use that. That's the correct answer.
You are not telling the truth, Mr. Phillips. You left your work this morning, and you went to the post office, where you dispatched a telegram at around 7:30.
But how could you... No,
The telegram was for someone in Manchester.
Mr. Holmes, it's I'll tell you everything. I left the baths at 7:20. My sister wrote to me yesterday, and she needed a reply, or our mother is unwell. I was away for 20 minutes, and I closed the baths on my way out.
Did you receive a reply from your sister?
No, she wasn't meant to. I just told her to pawn my old school uniform so that she could pay for the medication.
Did you check to see if the key was still in your desk when you returned?
No, I didn't. Please, Mr. Holmes, don't tell the police about this. Sir Gregory would give me the sack. I need this job.
I see.
Alright, and just to exhaust the rest of his dialogue as well.
There is a bottle of champagne on ice in the changing room.
There is? Are you quite certain? I didn't pay any attention. Do you believe that it's important?
That depends, doesn't it? Okay, now we can go to the map, and we want to head to Scotland Yard. But before we do, we'll just check the character portraits, because they're important for achievements. We need to make sure we get them all. And for this particular case, there's going to be the one that we've already got, Alan Phillips, and 3 more. I'll bet you can guess who they are going to be. And they're the only ones. There's only 4 in this particular case. So 1 down and 3 to go. Alright, to the map. And Scotland Yard. Travel there. Okay, first thing we want to do here is head to the evidence room. If you remember from case 1, it's just inside here. And we have the victim's property and the 3 suspects' property here. So we're going to start on the left here, if I could get the camera right, with Pitkin's belongings. Alright, so let's just have a look.
An
He's got a
embroidered
hanky,
silk handkerchief.
a pen,
A fountain pen with solid gold trim.
and a visiting card. Pick that up, and then you can rotate it around so that you can see the other side, and we'll examine that.
Gregory Pitkin's visiting card.
Alright, so that's everything for him. Now we've got Garrow's belongings. Here's the towel.
Only dead, he wiped the blood upon himself.
And then we've got a drug vial, so pick that up and we're going to take that with us.
With herbs. Do you know what it is, my dear fellow?
It's the St. John's wort flower, Holmes. It's commonly used as a drug against melancholia. However, an overdosage might lead to a rash or even hallucinations.
And now we'll look at the third suspect, Blinkhorn's belongings. First we've got a
An
pencil,
ordinary pencil.
and then a letter from Pitkin, one of the other suspects. Have a read of that. So read the first page, pause the video if you need to, and there's the second page, and pause that if you need to. Okay. And so that's all of the suspects, and now we can look at the victim's belongings, Bentcliffe's belongings. Okay. And from here, what we want to do is we want to take the map.
A hand-drawn map.
We want to have a look at this coin. And again, we can rotate it around to the other side and examine
Old
it.
and rather dirty coin.
So we're taking that with us. Quite the thief, Sherlock. And a ring as well.
This ring was most likely the one that Sir Rodney wore. He removed it before entering the steam room.
And again, we want to rotate it around to the outside here where we can see an old symbol. Examine
Egyptian
that.
symbol. It is a very old jewel.
And we want to examine this join here.
I see the join. This ring was repaired, and quite badly too, with silver.
Why on earth would they wear such a ring?
A very pertinent question.
Alright, now we want to examine the notebook.
Rodney Bentcliffe's notebook. It may contain something of interest.
Alright, we want to look here where the tear in the pages is, so
The
examine.
last pages were torn out. We must find a way of retrieving Sir Rodney's last lines. Watson, please prevent anyone from entering the room. But first, fetch me a pencil. To begin with, a few strokes of the pencil will be enough. I don't want to damage the traces.
Okay, so we just start at the top here, push A. I think I went too high there. Just a couple of times and then move down. A couple of times again, move down. I think that's about it, yep.
And then to gently smudge the leftover pencil marks with a handkerchief. I'm sure that Watson won't mind if I use his.
Okay, and this is where you just hold A and then shift it back and forth like that. Just so that we can see what he's written. There we go. That's all you have to do for that one. That's another mini game that you could skip if you were having trouble, but it also counts to my Grey Matters
Mr. Holmes,
achievement.
the coroner...
Okay, that's going to be it for this video. We're going to have to cut it there. We're going to continue case 3 very soon. But I'd like to thank you all very much for watching, and if you've enjoyed it, please remember to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. I'll catch you all next time.